Hello, Cleveland, and everyone from everywhere else. Welcome to your 10-minute TA for the day. It is what? No, Tuesday. It's Tuesday, May 27th, 2025. Hope everyone's week's going great. Alrighty, so basically, before we get started, I do ask that you give me a like and a subscribe. Really helps out the channel. Alright, let's dive into it. So, since yesterday, we'll start here on the 90-minute chart, and I'll try to make this quicker than yesterday, because it went rather long yesterday. Anyway, so yesterday, we were talking right around here, and I was saying we were probably going to move sideways or to the downside, and look, we moved sideways. Got a little bit higher than our previous high, but not by much, and once again, stayed under our local resistance that was previously acting as support. Now, what are we looking at? Well, we're basically at the exact same position as before. Stochastics are oversold. RSI is slightly in a higher position, but back in bearish territory. We did see a small squeeze here on the Bollinger Bands, but no breakout occurring yet. The squeeze may not be blue, the Bollinger Bands may not be blue, but this is still still squeeze. It's still squeezing. So expect a breakout to be coming soon. But to which direction? That is the question. That is always the question. To which direction will it go? I'm still of the mindset that we're heading to the downside. Why? Well, we do have a double top formed as well here now on the 90-minute. Here's one, there's two, and double tops usually will play down to where they started. Should be right around here, which would be quite close to the 200 moving average here on the 90-minute chart. So I predict a move down to the 200 and hopefully a bounce off of it. Because if we don't see a bounce, well, then we're heading down to that 99.6 being our next major support level. That's where we'd be heading after that. Let's take a quick peek at the 22-minute chart, see where she's at. Well, since yesterday, she got right back up over her, well, no, it was over when we were talking. So, like, it didn't break back under, stayed over the 200. But look, it has now broken under again. Let's see if it can break back over the 200 once again. I think I was making it over here. I don't even remember. But, yeah, let's see if it can break back over the 200 again. However, the Stokes are pointing to the downside. But we are seeing a bullish div here on the RSI. See how the lows here are making lower lows, while the RSI lows are making higher lows. Now that says a bullish div, and hey, we might see some more upside again. Okay, would love to see it. Let's get back up to the top side of this range and then break through. Hopefully. We'll see what happens. But at the moment, the Stokes are pointing to the downside, so we'll see if that doesn't continue. Let's look at the 5-minute. 5-minute Stokes also pointing to the downside, as in like they've reached a top and are now moving down in their oscillation. You can see the Stokes move up, they move down, they move up, they move down. We can move up, down, up, down, up, down. Sometimes they get stuck, but they mostly just move up and down. And when they're moving up, that kind of tells you, hey, price action is moving to the upside. When they start moving down, price action starts moving to the downside. However, these are the Stoke RSI, so it's doing the stochastic calculation for the closes here on the RSI as opposed to the price action. So really, we're looking at going down here, RSI is going down. RSI going down, that drives the price action down as well. Okay, 5 minutes. What's looking like? Looking like it might be bouncy. If it can get back up over that 200, that purple line, well then, hey, there's a chance for the 22 to bounce back up there. It will. And then if that, let's look at the 1 minute. 1 minute's back under the 200 again. Since yesterday, we were, over it for a little bit, but then came right back under, and we've kind of just been under it all day. So you can see the 1 minute, whoopsie doopsies. You can see the 1 minute kind of has that like drive. If you see the 1 minute under the 200, then we're probably, staying down there. We're moving down on these higher time frames. If you see the 1 minute bouncing up over, well, then there's a chance to move up, like there was here just this morning when price action popped up real quick, but then got rejected by local support again, came back down under the 200. But you can see, yeah. Anyway, if that 1 minute can get back up over the 200, that can drive the 5 minute up over again. But right now, overbought Stokes here on the 1 minute as well. RSI finding resistance here at the median. This might go lower, in all honesty. Despite that bullish div here on the 5 minute. And on the 22. Those bullish divs have me thinking we might bounce back up to the top of this pattern. But we shall see. Alright, back to the 90. I think we're done here. Yeah. Looks like there could be a little bounce back to the top of the pattern tonight, maybe early tomorrow, and then we'll see what happens from there. If we can break over this local resistance, then great, we're gonna head back up to all-time high. However, if we can't, then expect just more sideways movement until that breakdown occurs. I think it's gonna happen. I think we're going back down to about 106.5 to meet up with that 200 MA on the 90-minute chart. All right, let's take a quick peek at the 6-hour chart. Had 4 candles and nothing's really changed, just sideways movement. However, here on the indicators, we are seeing from yesterday's when we were making it over here, yeah, we come up and now we're heading back down. So seeing the Stokes here on the 6-hour chart pointing the downside kind of indicates further downside. We're also seeing, but however, we are seeing the RSI trying to stay in bullish territory. So if them Stokes on the 90-minute can turn around, which doesn't look too promising with all the rest of the indicators below it, although those 1 minute and the 5 minute, they look like they might be. Look at that. They change quick. See? Look at this. It's starting to turn back to the upside, and this one's bouncing off its signal line. Let's watch for a move back up over 109.566, which would also be that local resistance. We can get up over, or is that the local resistance? Or is that... Nah, that was this line. That was our former resistance, which we broke over, but then came back under. We're under it right now, too. The local resistance I had drawn over here. Yeah. All right. 6 hour. So the 6 hour, our head and shoulders never played out. Wham, wham. But look at this. We're seeing higher lows and lower highs. What does that mean? That means a symmetrical triangle. We'll do it in blue. Do it in like a light blue. Green, whatever that is. And lows, higher lows. That's a symmetrical triangle right there. What is a symmetrical triangle? Well, it's supposed to be a 50-50 pattern. And you would take a measured move, a guess for its measured move by taking the base, moving that over to the breakout point. So if it moved to the upside, 118.5. However, usually these things break down. Where would it break down to? Well, 99.6. Look at that. Right down to our next major support level. I mean, hopefully our last local support here can hold, but if not, it probably won't. We'll probably head back to 99.6. You never know. You never know. It could. It could. Anything can happen. Still over the 200 though here, so still more bullish than bearish, but we are looking for some downside to happen in the next day or so. maybe like 2, 3 days, heading back down to 99.6. Like I said, like I've told you guys before, you can kind of multiply the time frame by 8 to be like, well, where is this taking us? How much longer are we seeing? So, what is 90-minute times 8? 1 day. What's 6 hour times 8? About 4 days. What's 1 day times 8? About 16. Well, 8 days. uh, 8 days, just about. But I don't have 8 days on there because what's 4 times 4 is 16. And no, that math is so off. 90 minutes times 8 is 12 hours. So the 90 minutes really telling us what's going to happen in the next about half a day, 2 a day. 6 hour telling us what's about to happen like 2 days, in the next 2 days, the next like day to 2 days, more like 2 days to 3 days. Days tells us what's happening over the next like 4 days to a week, and then like 4 days tells us what's happening in the next like 16 days to like 2 months. Not really 2 months, but more like a month. Anyway, gang, I'm going long again. I apologies. Always keep doing this. Anyway, symmetrical triangles, they usually break down. So let's watch for that 99.6 to happen in the next 4 days or so. But, things can change. Oops, back to 6 hour. Things can change. The Stokes can turn around. If the 90-minute Stokes can start heading back to the upside, then so can the 6 hour Stokes, and that would drive the daily Stokes also up and out of oversold territory. They are oversold here. However, the RSI is, under its signal line and moving to the downside. Signal line's out of oversold, overbought territory though here on RSI. So is the RSI, putting in a higher low, or higher low. Things might still be heading to the upside. There's still more bullishness here on the daily than there is bearishness. It really just depends on those lower time frames to hold up. If they can, then this daily is going to stay primed to rip. But if we get back down to 996 over the next 4 days, that's still not bad. That's just the bottom of our Bollinger Band, which we haven't seen since April, the beginning of April. So yeah, we kind of need that pullback. Now, how big of a pullback would that be? How big of a pullback would that be from here? Just about 8% from the top. It would be a little 10% pullback. Hey, those happen. They're not unheard of, and they're very common in the Bitcoin space. We could even have a 20% pullback, get back down to 89, 90. We don't want to see the 30% pullback because I mean, even the 20% pullback, we're under the 200 at that point. 30% pullback, we're back to April lows. So we're looking for a 10% pullback, no more. Keep our bullish hopes and sentiments alive, because if we get under that 200, that purple line, we're going to be more bearish than bullish. Okay. Look at this. All the alts are doing pretty good. 174. They're coming back down. They're starting to get squeezed too. Every one of them. Bollinger Band squeeze on the daily. On the daily. Squeezing. There's a breakout coming in the alt space. They're just waiting for Bitcoin to do something. Bitcoin on the daily. Bollinger Band's getting tighter. Slowly but surely getting tighter. All right. And they're tight here too on the 6 hour. So we got a squeeze here on the 6 hour as well. Breakouts are coming. But to which direction? Who knows? Not me. All I know is the probabilities that the charts tell me. And right now we're more than likely going down for the next couple days. Maybe a few days. But we still have a chance to go higher. That chance decreases if we get under the 200 on the 90. It decreases even more if we get under the 200 on the 6 hour. And if we get under the 200 on the daily, well, we're real bearish at that point. Okay. So thank you so much for watching. Again, sorry for going a little long. I should change the name of this to roughly 15-minute TA. I think I will. And yeah, thank you again for watching. You guys are awesome. Much love, and I will see you tomorrow.